Hello, this is Matthew Robert Payne, and this is a video called Visiting Joseph, Jesus' Father in Heaven. And I just get an image of a carpentry shed. It's a shed attached to a two-story house. And I was just thinking of Mary in her spa bath as I was thinking of Joseph's house. They're in different houses. Mary's spa bath isn't in this house that I'm seeing here. So they love each other, but they're not living as a couple. And so this is a carpentry shed, and it's got modern lathes and all the modern equipment, woodworking equipment, and it's a professional. It's now that I look at it, I thought it was just a shed, but this is a whole factory. It's at the back of his house, and it's this factory, and it builds furniture, and there's all sorts of workers in there, and they're building furniture, and they're making furniture for heaven, for houses in heaven. Joseph is there, and he's coming up to me. He was just speaking to someone, giving him directions, and he's coming up to speak to me. He's taken us inside his house, and on the left-hand side, coming in the back of his house, is wine rack. We're passing glass. It's glass, and there's a room that you can go into, and we're going into the room, and it's just rack upon rack of wine, and some of the bottles of wine are 2,000 years old. It's because you can go through these portals back to Jesus' time. You can get a barrel of wine from those days, and you can bottle it and bring it forth to today, and drink it today. He's you go into this wine cellar, and it's all at a separate degrees temperature, and there's stairs, and it goes up 3 stories. There's just one wine cellar that's 3 stories high. He's got a commercial kitchen in this house too. They all seem to have a commercial kitchen. He's got a dining table that fits 40. So it's a large room. It's a really large room. And this would be the room where Mary and the disciples and Jesus would meet with a family. They'd meet there, and the wine would be served with the meal. He's got a tremendously large kitchen, and it's the largest kitchen I've seen in heaven so far. And it's a real commercial kitchen, and it would comfortably fit 6 chefs in it. And the table for 40, there's a table for 40, but there's also seats and dining tables there for it to be a whole restaurant. So it can seat about 100 people, but there's one main table that seats 40. So This, if they had weddings in heaven, this would be the location to have a wedding, to have the main bridal table, the 40, and then the other 100 seats. But official functions would happen here, and special events, and if you're on the head table, you'd be the honoured guest. So there's all sorts of pictures in the house of Jesus' life. There's one of Jesus as a little boy, um, with some woodwork in his hands that he's made, and he's given it to his father and his mother, and both Mary and Joseph are there, and he's got this little truck that he's built, and Joseph has helped him build it, or Joseph has built it for him, and Jesus has got it. Jesus is about 6 years of age, and he's giving the truck to Joseph, and it's a good image, and that would be a photo where you'd want to go back and experience Jesus at 6 years of age, and have a talk to him. This is a really good book for people who are experienced with translation, because they can translate into these portal pictures and go and interact with Jesus. I seen Jesus one time when he was a young child, about that age, where he was picked on by a bully, and the bully knocked him over. And I saw this vision and heard what his mother said to him and everything. And it was really helpful to watch and see how Jesus overcame this bully. Yeah, so this is a good look at a house, and it's got a factory behind it. That wine cellar is amazing. I've never seen a 3-story wine cellar. I've never seen a commercial kitchen in a person's house, such a big commercial kitchen and a restaurant there. And it's got a fully stocked bar on the side of this restaurant. There's all sorts of liqueurs and stuff. There's a coffee machine and a couple of baristas there, and we've come in on a feast, and Joseph is just showing us the place, and there's people eating there, and they're turning around. Jesus is in one of the seats, and he's smiling at us. We've entered. Mary's there, Mary Magdalene's there, Jesus is there, disciples are there. So we've entered into a real feast, and if you can picture it, if you can picture Jesus and the Apostle Paul and Peter and James and Matthew and all the apostles there, and if you can picture it, you can enter in and you can start to talk to them and talk to Jesus. Jesus at the head of the table, closest to the kitchen, and Mary's at the other head of the table. Mary, Jesus' mother, is at the other head of the table, down the other end. So Mary was talking about it in the last chapter, about inviting people to come and eat with the apostles. And this is a special family that's part of, it's the family that had the great-grandfather, the grandfather and the father and the son as pastors. Those 4 men and all their former wives and daughters and children are all at the table, and they are very happy to meet me and us. And as you read this book, you'll come into this room and see them, and you can interact with them. Especially if you're a pastor and you're reading this book, it'd be interesting to talk to the great-grandfather, and the great-grandfather is standing up now that I talk about him. And if you're reading this book, you can say hello to him and have a discussion with him if you're a pastor or you're interested in the gospel. And he's sitting down, and the grandfather is standing up now, and you can talk to him. So, so this has been interesting. So the next question is, what are you doing in heaven? So Joseph says, I'm currently working as a carpenter in heaven, and I was a carpenter on earth, and me and Mary welcome people to earth, to heaven, and we put on banquets here, and there's a lot of wine that flows. There's a lot of alcohol that's consumed. People don't get drunk in heaven. There's no sin in heaven. Alcohol is something that was created for our good, and it's tasty, and so people enjoy our parties, and so we entertain here. Mary's house is more intimate for herself, and we entertain here, and I build custom designed furniture for people's houses, and I have a showroom in the city with all my designs and my furniture. People can go and choose a table setting, or lounge chairs, or furniture, beds, and different stuff, and we can design it in our factory. That's one of a number of factories that I run, but this one is more of the specialized furniture that we do, the high-end sort of stuff that we do. But I oversee a lot of carpentry. Jesus will come and work in the factory and design furniture for people. And Kat Kerr will mention that people can get furniture with Jesus' initials in it. And it's been a long time since I listened to her videos, but Jesus still creates furniture in my factory, and I think you'd appreciate a chair made by Jesus, but you'd appreciate having dinner with Jesus a little bit more than a chair. But if it may be your prayer chair, the chair you go to spend time with the Lord, you'd probably appreciate your rocking chair being made by Jesus. I appreciate you coming to look at my factory and my house. It's not often that a person from Earth has seen the inside of my house. Perhaps you can describe it a little bit more, Matthew. The wine cellar is black shelving, and gold rims, gold black, but there's rims on the racks that is made of gold, so it's black and gold. The inside of the house is all cedar wood, and it's all carved, and it looks really beautiful. The whole house is um, cedar, and it looks really good in the dim lighting. Um, the lights can be turned up and down with dimmer switches on it, and so it's as we walk into it, it's fairly dark inside. It gives it a good feeling. Jesus is telling jokes. Yeah, people at the table are laughing. We're just guests, but Jesus is being the life of the party at the table at the moment. Uh, so that gives you a bit more of an explanation of what the house looks like. But I really enjoy making furniture for people, and I can do special requests. People can come into our display homes, display um, shops, and look at the display and then ask for a specific piece of furniture, and we'll take that special order and do that special order for them. So people know that they can get a piece of furniture off Jesus, and from time to time we get an order for furniture from Jesus, and Jesus gets that request and comes around and spends the time to make it. So that's what I do. What do you like about heaven? I like the fact that you can be comfortable doing what you do. I was a carpenter on earth, but it was hard. It was a lot of our clients didn't have a lot of money, and so many people paid us in vegetables and goats, and so many people owed money, and it was hard. We weren't a rich family, and the gold that Jesus was given as a baby, we spent all of that. We weren't wealthy, and we were a moderate family, and I had a few children, and it was expensive to live, and so it's so much easier in heaven with a house like this. And this is the first story that you saw, some of the first story. Out the back of the house is an Olympic swimming pool, and a lot of people in heaven swim, and it's very healthy. And we've got a spa and a sauna out there, and a swimming pool, a badminton court, and a couple of squash courts. They're on the first level, further down, and then we've got 2 stories above. So I like that you can have the house of your dreams in heaven. If you can think it, you can have it. There's no selfishness in heaven. There's no greed in heaven. People get what they desire because they desire it. They don't get it because they're greedy or they're selfish. Heaven doesn't tolerate sin. And so you can be sure that heaven will accommodate you. There's rewards in heaven, and you'll be rewarded in heaven according to what you did on earth. So what you did on earth will determine the first house that you live in heaven, and then further rewards will have you acquire a bigger house in heaven. If you're on earth and you spend all your money on yourself and never gave to the poor, and never financed your church and never tithed, and you spent all your money on brand name clothes and spent all your money on technology and were very selfish with your money, you're not going to end up with a house like this in heaven. And that may be a surprise for you, because not everyone has a mansion in heaven. You've got to understand that you've been visiting saints' houses in heaven, saints, biblical saints that had a track record. We could take you to ordinary individuals' houses, and they mightn't be as expansive as some of the houses you've seen so far. So I like how your will, you have a free will in heaven, and you get to decide what you want to do, and you get to decide how you want to spend your days, and what you want to do with your life. I enjoy the people of heaven. I love meeting the families that Mary gets to know, and when she has a family ready to meet and ready to meet the disciples and Jesus, she brings them around here, and we have a good celebration. When the interview's finished, I'll be joining the table. What was your message for us? Be authentic, be yourself. I know that's been said before by other saints, but it's really important to find out who you are and be yourself. Don't try and be Matthew. Don't try and be someone else. Don't look at someone else and say you want a life like them. It's okay to want the gifts that they have, and it's a godly desire to covet godly gifts. The Apostle Paul said that we're to covet the gift of prophecy, so we're to go after the gift of prophecy. But I'm sure the gifts of the Holy Spirit and the gifts of God are available for us to partake of. So it's okay to want the gifts that are on someone's life. But as far as being someone else and being that person, the only person you want to be is Jesus. The only person that you want to emulate is Jesus. The Apostle Paul said, and we've said it so far in the books, imitate me as I imitate Christ. The Apostle Paul became such a refined and beautiful Christian that he's able to say to his followers, the people at Corinth, he was able to say to them, if you want to do the proper Christian life, just be like me. Imagine having a life where you can say that. Well, Matthew can confidently say that now. But imagine living a life so exemplary that you can say to people, if you want to live the proper Christian life, just behave like me. Imagine getting to that stage of life where you can say that to other people, and perhaps you can Imitate Me. You can write your first book called Imitate Me, and you can go through all the ways that you imitate Jesus Christ. That would be a good title for a book, Imitate Me. Yeah, so be authentic, be true to yourself, be honest with yourself, first of all. Find out who you are and who you're meant to be and what you're meant to be doing, and do it. Get down and start to do it. Start to become who you're meant to be. And I encourage you to take on board what the teachers are teaching you. I really suggest you go back to your favorite books and you highlight them and ask questions and write journal posts or write blog posts and describe what the authors are saying and describe it in your own words and do a study of what they're teaching and get it into your spirit, get it down from your head into your heart and start applying it and start to live your best life now. Start to become who you were destined to be. I encourage you, Matthew's got a service called a Prophetic Destiny Blueprint. Order that service for yourself. Have him describe for you what you're meant to be doing spiritually on earth. Take your time and take your money and order that service for yourself. You can find that on Matthew's website. I hope you are encouraged by what I had to say today. I hope you got a good image of my house and saw how you can live. Perhaps you're a lover of wine and would like a 3-story wine rack. There's stairs that go up to 3 stories, and you can go to my 3rd level of my house. Each level has got different surprises. Why don't you come and why don't you go to Matthew's website and go to the service to have your eyes spiritually opened, or go to the service of visiting heaven and come to my house and come for a tour of my house one day. And if you get your eyes spiritually open, you can just come to my house, start reading this book, and then meet me at the wine cellar, and we'll go upstairs and I'll show you the 2nd and 3rd floor. I encourage you to do it. Do it. If you enjoyed this chapter of the book, you know what to do. Write a review on Amazon and say, I enjoyed Joseph's interview. God bless.